One of the most common self-protective behaviors in relationships is emotional distancing. It often happens without us realizing it. You start withdrawing, conversations feel heavier, you overthink their words, you take longer to respond, or stop replying altogether. And what's strange is, this usually happens when things are actually going well, when someone is kind, attentive, emotionally available. Instead of feeling safe, you feel exposed. Instead of leaning in, you pull away. Not because you don't care, but because something deeper inside you whispers, "Careful, don't get too close." Psychologically, pushing people away is often a protective response. It's not because you dislike intimacy. It's because intimacy activates discomfort. Closeness brings uncertainty, exposure, and emotional risk. And somewhere along the line, your mind learned, distance feels safer than disappointment. This is what we call emotional avoidance. It's not conscious. It's not planned. It's protective. Your nervous system recognizes vulnerability as a threat and responds by retreating. Pushing people away is often driven by a deeper fear of emotional overwhelm, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, fear of being seen in moments you can't control. So your brain does what it's designed to do. It shields, through emotional detachment, sarcasm, avoidance, or even overanalyzing the other person's behavior to find flaws. It creates emotional distance before someone else can. This is not dysfunction. This is protection. But protection can become isolation. What makes this cycle so frustrating is that it repeats itself, often silently. You meet someone. It feels promising. You begin to hope. Then small moments trigger something subtle. A silence, a delay, a vulnerable interaction, and suddenly, your inner dialogue changes. This is too much. They're probably not serious. I need space. You might even feel irritated by kindness, not because it's wrong, but because it feels unfamiliar. The pattern becomes closeness, discomfort, distance, regret, and it leaves you caught between craving intimacy and fearing its weight. Over time, this protective cycle has real consequences. Emotionally, it creates chronic self-doubt. You begin to question your capacity to connect, to trust, to belong. Psychologically, it reinforces a narrative of isolation, that closeness isn't sustainable, that no one will really understand you, that independence is safer than mutual support. Relationally, it can lead to short-lived connections, where one person leans in and you pull away. Eventually, you may stop letting people get close at all, not because you don't want connection, but because you no longer believe it can feel safe. What you're really craving isn't connection alone. It's safe connection. Connection where you don't have to perform, where you're allowed to feel unsure, where emotional intensity doesn't mean emotional instability. Most people who push others away aren't closed off. They're highly sensitive to emotional shifts. They're tuned in, deeply, but unsure how to regulate what they feel when things get too real. The fear isn't love. It's emotional vulnerability without control. So the mind says, if I let them in, I lose control of how I feel. And control, for many, equals safety. So how do you begin to let someone in? Not by forcing closeness, but by observing your response to closeness. When someone gets emotionally close, ask, what part of me feels overwhelmed? What is the story I'm telling myself right now? Is this discomfort or danger? The goal isn't to eliminate fear, it's to separate fear from fact. Sometimes, emotional discomfort is not a red flag. It's a growing edge. Letting someone in means slowly tolerating emotional closeness, without rushing into full exposure, and without shutting down completely. Start with moments of emotional pause, not pressure. Instead of pushing someone away, try expressing, I feel overwhelmed, but I'm still here. When you name the experience, you disarm the defense. You remind your system, this is not danger. This is discomfort I can tolerate. Over time, those small emotional exposures build resilience. You begin to trust your ability to stay present, even when connection feels intense. You are not too distant. You are simply learning how to feel safe in closeness. Pushing people away doesn't make you unlovable. It means your system is wired for caution, not because you're weak, but because you're sensitive to what matters. And sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's a signal. A signal that says, I want to be seen, but I want to feel safe while being seen. You don't have to let everyone in, but you can start by letting someone in, slowly, intentionally, without betraying yourself. If this spoke to something inside you, pause today, reflect, and consider, is there someone I'm pushing away because I feel unready? You don't have to be fully ready, just willing to try. You're not alone in this. And you don't have to protect yourself from love anymore. You can protect yourself within love, and that changes everything.